Yurt. What's good?
What's going on, broski?
Nothing much. I just want to welcome everybody to the inaugural, the first episode of the Next Call podcast.
Next call.
Yeah. This is just basically a podcast, a variety show. We're gonna have talking points, I guess, but we're pretty much just gonna talk, and it's gonna be fair for the most part, off the cuff. My name's Jay, for everybody that's listening, and my co-host is
My name's EJ.
tell him what time it is.
It is 9:05.
Yeah, 9:05 p.m. EST. So, I feel like just for the first episode, we can just tell people how we met. We met in college a few years ago. Dang, it's probably like more than a few now. What? Like
A lot.
what was it? 2009 is when our program started.
Yeah, so over 10 years almost.
Oh my god. Okay, so way more than a few. We both went to college in DC. We both went for audio production degrees, and basically for the first few, because we were on a quarter system, which is like a 10-week change of courses instead of the semester system. We didn't talk to each other.
Nope.
We were in the same classes. Both of us just like were on two totally different planets. I was like ultra nerd at first and was like, sitting in the front of the class, just like, during
And I was into
every
girls.
class. So, and plus I was commuting too for the vast majority of the time. And it was insane. By those first few classes were 3-hour classes at night, and
Yep.
it just was insane. But we didn't even talk. How many quarters did we go until we were like in our first class?
A lot.
Yeah,
I don't even know, to be honest with you. What was our first class?
One of the first ones was like Audio 101. You remember that?
Were we in audio? Was that like our first class together though?
Maybe it was a mixing class. But either way,
Maybe. I don't remember when we met. That's the crazy part.
I know we were in broadcast class together, which was hysterical, by the way.
Hilarious.
That class was one of my all-time favorite classes. I was an absolute fool in that class. And we basically we learned about broadcast, and not necessarily like what they do in a studio, but we produced like little radio shows and stuff, and we were in groups of, I think, like 4, right, or something like that.
Yeah, like 3 or 4.
And I did a bunch of impersonations and stuff. I did John Madden, which was great, which was hysterical. I did the tough acting, Tinactin thing. This is John Madden with tough acting, Tinactin.
Still got it.
So, yeah, we didn't really talk until I think right around that time, and that was probably like maybe 4 or 5 quarters in, I would say. And
yeah,
there were a ton of people in the program. I think, didn't we start out with like 80 people or something like that? It was close to like,
that sounds about right.
It was close to like 100, and it started to dwindle about like after the third quarter, like started to eat away at itself, because like the place where we went, I won't name drop the place because it's closed now.
No, I was gonna say I will, but okay.
I mean, we can, I guess. We went to an art institute in DC, and it is now closed. That location is no more. Um, it was just a freaking random office building in DC.
The milk's gone sour.
Yeah, the milk's gone sour. Uh, and it was we didn't even own the full building. Like they were basically leasing the building from some company, and then they were on some middle floors, and we were on the rest of the floors. And they built studio spaces for audio, a video studio in there. The top floor was the culinary arts. Dude, it
Yep.
was just a
12th floor.
weird building. So I, but anyways, that school is now defunct. But what they did was it was a bunch of shady stuff going on. They first, like, I had an advisor, a financial advisor for all that stuff and financial aid and whatever, and they all of a sudden after like the first quarter said that she was gone, or acted like, not even that, acted like she didn't exist completely. Like, what? Who? I never heard of her. What do you mean? Like, totally acted like she didn't exist. This is before we all found out that they were skimming money off the top of our student loans and like pocketing it. Just completely wild. So she ran
Ay,
off.
Dios mío.
She fled the country, or I don't. Maybe she ran to Hawaii. That was the rumor I heard anyway, and that's not fleeing the country. That's just going.
The other side of the country.
Yeah, going out of the mainland U.S. Like, but that was wild, and this. So this place was not only doing that, but what they would do is a for-profit school. So they would lock you in at first, lock your loans in, and then by the third quarter, you were, like, you could get whatever you had, whatever grades you had for the first 3 quarters, and then by that point, they had your money like totally locked in. You had to pay them back. So by the third quarter, they also had a rule that if you failed like 3 classes, I think, like total of 3 classes, they would kick you out, but they still got your money. So
Wait, what? I don't remember that.
you didn't hear about that? Yeah, like if you
No.
failed 3 classes total, I think after the third quarter, it was like you're out of the program. So that, like, a bunch of people dropped like flies.
Oh, that makes sense.
It was
Like
crazy.
shit.
I mean, we went from like 80 people, and then by the time graduation rolled around for me, there was 10 of us, like 10 or 11 left.
Yeah.
It was
I
crazy.
think there was only 4 when I graduated. By the time I graduated.
Yeah, I mean, that's just insane. We both were, like, basically by the end of the program, we both were just freaking exhausted by it. It was grueling, just simply grueling, because of the professors too. I mean, they sort of had a cabal, like, with each other.
I was about to imitate one of our professors, but it would have been racist. So
Oh God. I mean, it was just ridiculous, dude. They, like, one of them in private sessions, like one-on-one sessions with you, would listen to your stuff and be like, "Oh yeah, this is great. This is awesome. You're doing such a great job." Then you get to a review session with the rest of them in there, and if one of them said like, I don't like it," they're all like, yeah, that sucked. It's like 5 minutes ago in the last session, you just said it was Gucci. Like, you just said it was good. And to be honest, like, we didn't really have much training in mastering. So, like, they just expected us to know how to do it.
Oh yeah.
Like, we learned all the basics of mixing and stuff like that. But they never gave us specifics on, like, what parameters we needed to set for once we had our finished product mixed, on how to master it and put it towards, like, radio ready. They just expected that we knew it. There wasn't like
Let's not forget. Let's not forget the secret relationship.
with who?
I'm not gonna say names, but there
Oh,
were two of our professors who
oh
were
yeah,
secretly
yep.
a thing.
Uh huh.
Mm,
There's that too. I mean, it just was like, and it didn't dawn on me while we were there, but it happened. It did dawn on me afterwards, like, a few years later when I got to thinking about it. These are just random people that were
oh yeah,
with
chosen.
master's degrees for
Some of them didn't even have that.
no, yeah. I mean, some of them were working on doctorates, but like I'm sure the school was paying them to help get their doctorate or whatever. But it's just these were random people. Like the fate of our education and our final products and portfolios and stuff was in the hands of just these random engineers. Just random engineers. They could
I
have
mean, you don't
hired these
mind.
people right off the street, and maybe a couple of them they did. Who knows? There was like one dude, at least a video professor, who had done legit work. Like his stuff was on History Channel and whatever. I thought he was dope, and his,
Who was it? Wait, oh, I know who you're talking about.
I'm talking about the older white dude. He was probably like in his
It's like
50s,
everybody.
60s.
It's like everybody in that school, the older white dude.
Yeah, it was a bunch of older white dudes. But like you don't really you didn't see any of their accolades anywhere. Like none of them were really working on anything that I can think of or that I knew of. They all acted like they were like amazing, and they were just random people. So that occurred to me. But so you know we went through the program, and they even changed it like halfway through too, or not halfway through, but like about 3/4 of the way when I was done, they even changed the program and dropped the amount of credits you needed to be done, which was like I was almost done, so it didn't matter to me. I just had to finish it out the way it was, which was infuriating. All the new people were like, "Oh yeah, it's just 80 credits or something like that," and it was like 120 for me. I was like, "Oh, all right, let's just
No, no big deal.
yeah, it's cool." I just wasted money and time.
Half my life.
Absolutely. So it was an interesting time, but it cemented our friendship.
It did. It did.
We we went through the program obviously, but then we ended up being roommates. By the time I was probably like 3 or so quarters from being done, I think.
Yep.
And but we didn't even room with each other for what, like another half a quarter or something like that. I went through some res life ridiculousness on the lead up to rooming with you. Like the first place, I couldn't even find my bed. Like you had to. For those that don't know, EJ was an RA too, so he was like
Resident assistant.
resident assistant. Excuse me, I'll give you the full title. So he had it made, and then I had to move closer to get an apartment closer because we were doing like overnight sessions and stuff like that, and it just was too much if I was going to commute. So when I went to the first place, it was in Clarendon. I got put there by Stephen Harris. You remember that dude?
Oh yeah, I think I still follow him on LinkedIn or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah. So he was an RA too, and I got put there by him, and I walk in this place, and I kid you not, from stem to stern, from top to bottom, there are piles and piles of electronics, like computers, like crap everywhere, full of nonsense in every nook and cranny. Like it looked like a bomb went off in this place, and so I'm looking around, and one of the bedroom doors was open, and there was obviously two people living in that room. So I went to go towards the other one, and the door was closed and locked. So I went through the bathroom, which was able to get into the room, and I couldn't get in. It was still locked, but it was like one of those French door things where you could see through a crack. And I look in through the crack, and there's somebody in there. What I thought was dead. I mean, I'm not even gonna lie. I thought they were dead because like I came in, I had all my bags with me. It wasn't quiet like coming in. And then I look through the crack and I see this person. I just see their head and shoulders like underneath some blankets in the room. And I couldn't even really see anything else. And so I'm like, I knock on the door. Nothing. No moving. I knocked a little louder. No moving. I like started pounding on this door and like they didn't move. I was like, all right, I'm out of here. I left. I walked out of there. I shut the door. I left. And I called Steven back. I was like, yo, I'm gonna need another place. I mean, they don't even have a bed. I was like, I can't even find the bed. It's probably under a mountain of crap. Like, so then I went to Crystal City, and then the dude that I roomed with, that was in my room for a little bit of time. He was cool at first, and then slowly, gradually, he started eating my food, like eating all of my stuff. He started eating my food, using my stuff. So I came home one time and he was using my Xbox. He'd use my MacBook if I left it there.
Wait, what? I didn't know all this.
Yeah. Yeah, this dude was nuts. He was just like using everything, all my stuff. So, I'm wasting money on stuff and he's eating it, or he's using my Mac or Xbox or whatever. So I about had it with that after like I can't remember how long I stayed in there. Probably half of the quarter or something like that. And then I was like, yo, I got to get out of here. And then by that time you and I had a bunch more classes together, and you were like, hey, I got a spot in my room. So so I moved in with you, but you had a sweet thing going because you had your own room because you're the RA. And then,
it's all good. The sacrifices we make.
oh God! And then there was the one dude who lived in a sunroom who took that over.
Freak nasty, freak.
Yo, that dude was a womanizer completely. He was playing two women and alternating them between the days. Not even kidding. Woman A, woman B. Like this dude, and somehow they didn't find out. I'm convinced that one of them was in his major, which was culinary. And the other,
one of them was. Yeah, I seen her at school.
Yeah, and then the other one couldn't have been. If she was, he's a tactical genius, I guess. If he can just somehow have those two avoid each other. So that dude was a douche. Completely. I'll just.
Good job there.
I'll just say, he was a total ass. I'll talk more about him at a later point, but basically, there was that guy, and then there was the dude that I ended up rooming with in the opposite side of the apartment, and this dude was a freak-a-leak. This guy was freaking weird. You remember the guy? I don't remember what his name was.
Who was this?
Remember that short anime dude that lived with me in the room before I moved into your room? He was like barely there, but remember this dude? He lived in the closet. Remember that?
What?
You remember that? Come
Shut
on
the
now.
fuck up. Somebody lived in the closet.
He lived in that walk-in closet. I can't even believe you don't remember.
That sounds vaguely familiar, though.
I'll retell it if you want me to.
Go for it.
So, this dude, first day I walk into this room, my bed was like up against the wall near the windows. And he had his bed positioned in front of the walk-in closet, like to the point where you had to like squeeze between the bed and the freaking door to get to the walk-in closet. I'm like, this freaking ass. Like, we're supposed to share the walk-in closet, I thought. And he blocked it with his bed. So I bring my stuff in. I'm like setting it all down. I look in, there was a dresser in there, and inside the dresser was just toilet paper. Like on one one of the dressers, it was toilet paper. Toilet paper. I'm like, okay, that's weird. So I'm like, this dude. So I went to go look in the closet because I'm like, why? What freaking a hole puts their bed in front of this? And I look in, and it was a the door opens inward into the closet. So I only saw like there were a couple shelves where you like obviously you can hang clothes off of him, but there were a couple shelves and stuff. And the first thing I see is lotion and tissues.
Oh my god.
And I couldn't open the door very far because it slammed into something. I'm like, what the hell is this?
His head.
No, he wasn't there that at that time. I I slammed into a freaking lawn chair, like a chair. This dude had taken a chair and set it up in the closet. And there was like a comforter in there on the chair. And I'm like, what the hell? So I set my stuff up, and then like a couple weeks go by, and during these couple weeks I had like midnight sessions, overnight sessions at school. So I went.
Midnight sessions. Okay.
Yeah, remember that? Like you could book the studio from
Ooh,
11 till like
I'm
7
joking.
a.m. Those overnight sessions were
Oh
ridiculous.
yeah, yeah, no.
Like I did not. It was hard. Like after 3 hours, your ears were tired anyway, but you still had to like keep going. So I'd come in at like, whatever time of night, and when I these obviously these beds were like, whatever lowest common denominator beds that they could find. So when you laid on them, they squeaked. They had all the springs and stuff like that. I kid you not. If I had moved and you could hear the spring move, this dude would alligator death roll in his bed. Just like, like, just completely freak out. He would like roll around in his bed. So I'm like, oh my God. He was freaking out. So that was weird. And then gradually, like, I started to see him less and less. But I was like, what? Maybe he's staying somewhere else. Like, blah, 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 blah. So it turned out he wasn't staying somewhere else. One night I got in, like, I had stayed.
Shut up.
He wasn't staying anywhere else. He was in the closet. So I get home. It's like close to 3 a.m. I'd caught the last metro in, and I get home. I'm exhausted. So I fall into bed, and then I hear like cackling,
Shut the fuck up. Yo.
cackling from in the closet. This dude was watching anime at 3 a.m. in the closet. I was like, what in the hell is going on? So by this time, it had been like, 2 or 3 weeks. And I'm like, this dude is straight up living in the closet. He stripped his bed. There was no clothes in the drawer in the thing other than the toilet paper. Like that was what was in there.
Now I'm trapped in the closet.
And this guy, he was like just weird, man. Like he claimed he had a girlfriend from London. He met her online. Shocker. Shocker. So he met her online, and I was like, this is insane. So I go ahead and I was like, yo, this dude is living in the closet. I went to you. I was like, this guy is straight up living in the closet now. He is not sleeping in the room. Like, you got to come see this. So I took you into the room, and keep in mind, like I said before, I didn't look any
I remember
further
this.
around the door. And so the first thing I saw was, the tissues and lotion. I shut the door. You went into the closet, turned your head to the left around the door, and turned the lights on, and you saw what I had not seen. This kid had a full wall devoted to a collage of a female fitness guru, and it was like it was like pictures of her working out and stuff. And this dude had quotes inside the collage like "my body is a machine" and stuff like that.
Oh
Like
shit!
like he had typed out. But keep in mind, this was like a short, kind of chubby anime dude. Like he
I
wasn't
remember
working
that
out.
shit.
It's not like he was working out or anything, and following
He a
this.
freak.
He freak a leak. So you
Freak
saw.
leak.
So you saw that and you were like, "Yo, look at this!" And I turned around. I was like, "Oh my god! I don't know what he's doing in this closet. It is disgusting." Like, I
My
mean,
body's a machine.
my body is a machine. I will never forget that. That's the quote that I saw smack dab in the middle, and it was like I'm telling you, it was a full wall. Like from Hey Arnold, where she had like that whole football head sculpture in the closet. I mean,
Football head.
that's exactly what it reminded me of, except there was no like pieces of gum and stuff. That dude was crazy. I mean, he was eating in there. Like there was banana peels. It smelled like. And keep on the back burner this entire time. I never once heard him use the shower. Never once. I'm the only one that used the bathroom. I'm the only one that cleaned the shower, cleaned everything. I never heard him use it. This man was not showering. I'm sure he smelled like an unwashed taint.
Turd.
Oh my god. Yo, it was disgusting. Disgusting. So then at that point I moved in to your room. We shared a room. And hilarity continued to ensue. I mean, like I was working a job at home and you were working in DC at the same time, but you were working like way more hours.
Oh yeah, I was flipping tricks on the streets.
You were working like crazy, and then obviously like we had all these sessions and stuff to try and prepare not only classwork, which was completely like time suck, just absolutely ridiculous stuff, to then also having massive projects on the side. uh it was ridiculous. So but we would clown each other like I still remember the times you would fall asleep mid sentence. This man fell asleep mid sentence one time. Just completely, he was talking to me about his day or whatever, about work, and then I look over and he's slumped, like splayed out both. He looked like freaking the Air Jordan pose, but laying off the side of the couch. This dude was in the middle of talking. I'm sitting at the kitchen table on my MacBook, like mixing or something. And he was like, out. Completely out. It was hysterical. Like, you freaking
Well,
like, we did the
man's got to sleep.
hashtag caught sleeping. That's what it was. Hashtag caught sleeping. I mean, we would like take naps in the studio and stuff. Like we'd trade off. Like, all right, yo, I'm gonna mix for a little bit.
Wake me up.
Yeah, wake me up in like an hour or 30 minutes. I remember one time before like portfolio reviews and stuff like that, I didn't sleep for like over 24 hours. And I just like, I drank like 6 cups of coffee. I drank like either a half a pack, at least 2 Red Bulls to keep myself up. I had looked horrible. And I had to go home. Like I stayed to finalize my DVD, portfolio DVD, overnight. I stayed overnight in that little studio down from Studio A. And because it had all like the video decks and stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I stayed in there and stayed up all night, finally like finalized the DVD, but then I had to go home and get changed into a suit for the review. This was like one of the, like, I think the final review. I go home. It's like 7 a.m. and the review was like early. So I rushed home to put on a suit. I didn't even have time to shower. I just like put on a suit, but in the middle of like heading down, I looked like a sweaty, disheveled mess. I passed by one of our professors in the review. He was gonna be in the review. I was like, "Oh hey," he was like, "Oh hey, where are you going?" Just going home real quick. I'll be back in a little while. See you at the review. That was nuts, yo.
Yes. College was something else.
Yeah, I mean there were some cool classes though, like the post production class.
Yep.
That was fun. Getting to like do voiceovers and sound effects for videos in the background. That was cool. What else? The broadcast class, obviously, I already said was hilarious. What else?
Um.
Probably like the studio classes were a lot of fun where we did like stuff with bands.
Oh yeah. I remember I had a my first studio class. I was looking at MySpace because everybody was on the space that day,
Yeah,
those days,
yeah, yeah.
and I found this grunge band. I was like, oh my god, these guys sound amazing. Mind you, I don't listen to grunge,
Yeah.
but I was like, these guys sound amazing. And I was like, all right, cool. We're gonna get them in the studio. We're gonna record. We got them in, and they sounded like hot assholes. I was so mad.
They sounded like
I was
garbage.
pissed. It was terrible.
Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, like it was so ridiculous because they were expecting us to get like A-list stars or something. Like
Mm-hmm.
they did no help finding us talent. Like zero. Aside from the personal projects that they all had going on, which they used the studio for free, which was
Oh,
another
of
reason.
course.
Like the stuff that they did, it never dawned on
That's the
me.
only reason I graduated.
Yo, I mean the personal projects from a couple of our professors, obviously you know who we worked with to help him do his personal projects and stuff for other bands. But like other than that we had to scout talent from random places. Oh, some of the bands I got through other people were awful. They
You
were
know what's
terrible.
fucking hilarious? And so when I was graduating, I had to come up with obviously my 10 projects to graduate. And I was struggling. I was like, fuck, I need to get more projects.
Yeah.
So I'm looking through my hard drive of old songs I recorded. And there was a song that I made when I was about 13 or 14.
Mm-hmm.
The beat, the verse, everything. And I recorded it with my cousin who lived in Atlanta. And when we recorded his verse for it, my grandmother in Atlanta had like this old eMac, like the original Macs that had like the
Yeah.
colors different.
Yeah.
And he recorded his verse by leaning in really close to the screen where there was a really small microphone.
Uh-huh.
And he recorded his verse in the fucking garage band. And
Dang.
so I had that track. I re-recorded mine in this $1.5 million studio. I recorded
Yeah.
my vocals, but his original vocals on that old ass eMac from 2004.
Yeah.
I fucking put on my portfolio, and they didn't even notice it.
So what?
That's when I knew that degree was bullshit.
Yeah. See, there's just it was here's the thing. Like I was saying before, it was all subjective.
Mm-hmm.
All of it. All of it was
Oh,
subjective. It was just how they were feeling. How they were feeling at that time or that day or whatever. That's what pissed me off. You got these random dudes that were randomly there. Now, I'm not saying I didn't take anything away from this degree. There's stuff that I learned that I never thought I would learn anywhere else. Having said that, it made zero sense what they were teaching as far as like, or not teaching, but advising towards the end of the portfolio show. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
completely ridiculous. I don't know. And since that place closed, I mean, they all started to leave too. You know, like the department chair left right after I left. A bunch of people, like it was crazy. I just can't. I couldn't believe when they had closed it because it just seemed so random. But then like all the stuff in the news came out about what was happening
Mm-hmm.
at in the organization and stuff. So it doesn't shock me that it closed,
No.
especially that one. Like it was supposed to be a branch of Atlanta, like the Atlanta, Georgia one, which made no sense to me. Don't it doesn't still to this day doesn't make any sense.
Now school that's a branch of a branch.
Right. Yeah, this is a little satellite campus of somewhere that's not even close by, like not even in the they couldn't have made it like a Virginia one or something like. But I don't know. It was silly. Or Maryland, like there was one in Maryland, I think. I don't know.
Oh no, there was one in where the fuck was it? It was in Northern Virginia,
Yeah,
Nova.
that's what doesn't make any sense. Like if we were going to school in DC and it was just like you got the surrounding states, but we're a branch of Atlanta. It didn't make any sense. So, anyways, long long-winded stories, but just freaking hilarious. I mean, we
Short story long.
yeah, short story long. That's how we met anyway. So, and then from then on, like I once I graduated, I took some time off because I was gonna go like I was thinking about a master's right afterwards. I still remember the portfolio show. It was freaking ridiculous.
A
Like,
hot ass mess.
dude, ours was not at the same spot that y'all's was. And like when I remember going to set it up, like we had to be there at like 6:30, set up by 7, and then the thing opened at like 8 o'clock for the professors to come through, and then also for the the people like prospective employers.
Prospective
Yeah,
employers.
which there was nobody at mine. Nobody. There, no audio people. Definitely no audio people. There were some video people that showed up, and I got a couple cards, but like, they weren't offering any jobs. They're unpaid internships. I was like, I can't do that. I cannot
Like
do
I
that.
just graduated from college. You know how much loans I have?
Yeah, and you're asking me right off the bat for an unpaid internship,
Hey, you want to
but
work for free?
yeah, you want to come shine my shoes? Like, so, but the sucky thing was like when I got there to set up, you had to have a booth and everything like that. I brought my studio monitors to set up, and the line of like the row of tables that my booth was on had a power surge, like power surged across this whole freaking line of stuff where everybody was plugged into. This dude lost a $7,000 computer. My speakers sparked. My DVD player that I brought
Holy shit.
sparked, like popped. It blew the fuses in my.
Oh, they'd have been buying me a new one.
Yo, it was ridiculous. It blew the fuses in my speakers, and then somehow, even though I saw smoke come out of the freaking back of my DVD player, it worked. Still worked. So I managed to play. Oh no, actually, I didn't want to use it. I turned it on, but it like I was just didn't want to use it and want a chance that it would blow up. But I still had like
Right.
thank God I did not plug in my TV yet. Otherwise, that thing would have been freaking toast. But I had that, and I just played the DVD off of my Mac. Oh no, wait, did I? No, I had one of those Novation, like launch pads with the different
Oh, I remember that.
buttons and stuff, and so I had set my portfolio up in Ableton just to like trigger off a button press, and basically I turned my booth into like a little kiosk where somebody would come up, and it actually worked out better this way
You're tight.
because like I just had to think because like my monitors were done at that point in time. Like I didn't have fuses on me, so I took the headphones and plugged them into the Mac. And then when people would come up, I'd be like, "Hey, here's my portfolio. You can press these different buttons to listen to songs that I've recorded, and and they would play it that way. So it actually worked better because there was so many people by the time we opened to the public. It was like noon, like 12 to 2, and that was when families and like the public could come in and look at the stuff. Like one half was all the arts stuff, like the game art and design, the audio production, video production, all that stuff, and then the other half was like culinary, if you remember. And so like the people came in and they put the headphones on, and it was loud in there. So thankfully that ended up working out. Thankfully I had brought my headphones.
It all works out.
I almost didn't, but luckily I don't know, just I brought everything I had. I just brought everything I had. And that was when I had a Jeep at the time, so like shoving all that stuff in there was nuts. I remember that thing though. I still miss that Jeep Wrangler. Yeah, but then the portfolio show lasted until like 5 o'clock, I think, and then that was when we switched over and did the graduation ceremony that same day. Like they handed out
Oh no.
everybody's robes that same day. Like everybody, they were like, "All right, get lined up in your majors," and then everybody got their robes, their freaking like awards and crap, like the medals and whatever that they achieved, and then we all had to sit there, and it was like till like 7 o'clock at night. It was like 2 hour ceremony after we'd done all that stuff, and then you had to. We left. I don't know if you remember this. Like, so I didn't even drive back home. I went back to the apartment, and I ordered Domino's, and you would work. So,
I think I vaguely remember that.
so I ordered Domino's. I went back to the apartment, and the Domino's finally arrived, and I brought it into the room. I was eating it like I was laying on the bed. This is how freaking tired I was. I was laying on my back. I had the pizza on my stomach. I was eating it, and I fell asleep with it. I fell asleep with the pizza
I remember
on my
that.
chest.
That was hilarious.
I was exhausted. That's one of the most exhausted days of my life. So, yeah, and then I can't remember how much longer I had access to the apartment after that. But that creepy dude, I swear that dude that was the womanizer, like never went to class. He loved the sound of his own voice. I mean, like anytime I ever interacted with him, he just loved to like talk about himself.
Freaking womanizer.
He was,
We are we are feminist on this podcast.
yo, absolutely, 100%. I felt bad for these two women that he was playing. But like people like that always get what's coming to them. But I remember when I was coming in to pack up my stuff, and he was home, and I guess he didn't assume that other people lived in the apartment. Like it's just freaking. This guy like literally was just an a-hole. So I come in to clear out my stuff, and I turn the key in the door, and he's like, "Whoa, hold on a second." And I hear like all sorts of running around and whatever. I come in, and him and woman A are sitting on the couch.
Subject A.
Exhibit A. We're sitting on the couch, naked. Both of them were naked. Like he had a pillow, one of our pillows that was on the couch. He had a pillow over his junk, and then she had two pillows over her top and bottom. And I was just like, "Oh, hey, what's up? I just came to get my stuff." And then we stood there, proceeded to have a conversation as if this situation was completely normal.
Hey, I know you seen my dick, but it's all good.
Yo, it was out of pocket. It was freaking ridiculous. I mean, this dude, like, yeah, he was something else. Good times. Definitely, definitely some unique memories. I mean, I was like I said, I only lived up there for the last 3 quarters, but it was hilarious. We used to go. Uh, what was the? Was it Bailey's across the way? We
Oh,
used
you
to.
know they tore that down, right?
Yeah, yeah, I heard. I actually went. No, remember I went up there recently.
Oh, that was
Um,
you. Something. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
dude, they tore the whole place down and revamped it, and it's incredible now. I mean, it looks totally different. But we used to go in there and eat wings and stuff, like it was dope. Or we used to go to
Amazing
Chipotle all the time, which was right across from the apartment.
reason I'm overweight now.
Bruh, it was dangerous having that there. But I was good with it. I was totally good with it. So I used to eat burrito bowls and all that constantly. It was Gucci. I mean, it was definitely better than the food near the other places I lived. Like at least there was uh some
That mall
semblance
had,
of restaurants, but it was janky. The mall was janky.
yeah, mall was janky. The food was good.
Yeah, no, it was dope. It was pretty dope.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Let me check the time on this thing. Dang, we've been talking for 46 minutes. Make that 47 minutes. That's pretty good. Pretty good for a first round.
Can't complain.
Nah, man. Well, I guess we can wrap it up now. Yeah, appreciate anybody that gives this a listen.
All right.
And I guess we'll talk about it. Talk about what's going on in the world on the next call. See what I did there? The next.
Yeah. The next call.
Yeah, boy. All right, yo. We'll take it easy.
Till next time, sir. Have a good night.
You too.
Peace.
Peace.